my Canasta friends, welcome to Canasta Class Clinic. In this video we'll be discussing tips, strategies, and basics all about Canasta as we play on Real Canasta. Our topic in this video will be having a Q&A about tally or scoring for the end game. If you have any questions, you can email me or pop it in the comments below. Also, if you could put in the comments anything you would have done different during play as we play on Real Canasta. Before we get started, please connect with me by hitting the subscribe button and hitting the bell so you can get notifications when I go live or post new videos every Monday evening at 6:30 p.m. Please give me a thumbs up for those videos that you enjoy the content. Please share with fellow Canasta players so they can learn and grow with us and become better players. And please put any comments below about the video or anything you would like to talk about Canasta. Thank you for always engaging and chatting with me. I love to hear from you in the comments. It means the world to me that you're here each week for your love and support. Please consider becoming a channel member. There are 3 levels to choose from. You could click join on the home screen next to the subscribe button. For a small monetary donation, you can pick a level. Thank you again for always being here. Let's get on with our topic and we can learn and grow together as Canasta players. There's a few things we wanted to go over about scoring at the end of the game. So let's review the basics. Each team will score their round at the end of the game, and that's either someone has gone out or that you've reached the end of the stockpile. The score is made up of the basic score and the card count. Your basic score is made up of counting your canastas, the bonus points for them, meaning you get 300 points for a mixed canasta and 500 points for a pure canasta. You tally them up. If you have 3s, you will get those points, and we'll talk more about that in a bit because sometimes they're ignored, added, or subtracted. And then you're also going to get 100 bonus points if you're the team who went out at the end of the game. And you're also going to include in the base score any penalties or bonuses for making pure aces, 7s, or wild card canasta. Once you tally that, that will become your base score, and then you will go on to count your card count. Those are the individual cards. They're the values of the cards in your hand, and on the table, the ones in your hand will be subtracted, and those on the table, depending on, again, if you completed 1 canasta or not, and also if you have 2 canastas or more. The value of the cards in the pure aces and pure 7s and wild cards will be positive towards your hand, again, based on how many canastas you have completed. Let's review how that works. Here are some questions that people have written in to me for. How do you score if one team goes out before the other team gets a canasta? Will all their cards be negative or just those in their hand and the 3s? So with no canasta for your team, when the other team goes out, all the cards on the table are negative, all the cards in your hand and your partner's hand is negative, and all the 3s on the table are negative. If you're holding a penalty card, meaning more than 2 7s or 2 aces, you will be also minus the penalty of 1,500 points because they're in your hand. You will also be minus the actual value of those cards, aces being 20 points and the 7s being 5. If you melded but had not yet gotten any canastas, you will have penalty points on the table of 2,500 points for the pure aces and 7s, and even if you have those wilds melded, maybe you started a wild meld, you will also have penalty for that. You will also deduct the points of those cards. If you have 1 canasta completed, if the other team goes out and you have 1 canasta completed, all the cards on the table are positive. The cards in your hand are negative, so you'll subtract them against the others to get your card count. If you're holding more than 2 sevens or 2 aces, again, you will incur a penalty of 1,500 points, plus the value of those cards. If you have it on the table, again, you need to get the penalty of 2,500 points, but the card values of the cards melded on the table will be positive. So it seems like you're double counting, but you're really taking away the bonus part of it, and then you still do get the value of the cards. With one canasta, the threes are negated, meaning that they're not positive nor negative. For your hand, they're 0. So you always want to cover your threes, meaning get one canasta. And finally, scoring for 2 or more canastas, all the cards on the table will be positive. Cards in your hand, however, are negative. Even if you go out or not, those cards are negative in your hand and must be subtracted. The cards in the individual canastas will be positive also towards your hand. And the penalty for incomplete pure aces and wild cards or sevens will be negative, but the points of the cards are positive if they're melded and you haven't completed them yet. Threes will be positive towards your hand when you have 2 or more canastas completed. Let's move on to the next question about opening melds. My partner is ready to open with their initial meld. They had 7 aces, which totals 140 points. Plus they put down 2 8s and a wild card, making the total over 155. They had actually 180. How should this be counted during scoring? So just to start off, having 7 of something is called a splash. If you have 7 sevens or 7 aces in canasta, you are getting a bonus of 2,500 points plus the value of the individual cards. Also, if you come down with a splash, you're not required to meet the point count. So this question, the person could have just come down with 7 aces and not put down additional points to try to get to 155. They had 7 aces, which is known as a splash, a special opener. Nor do you have to put down a clean triple with that splash. It is all you need for your meld, regardless of the points needed, 125, 155, or 180. It beats the points. Our next question is about having aces or sevens in your hand. Team A went out early in the game. Both partners on Team B had 3 sevens in their hand. Do you deduct 1,500 points for sevens in your hand, or is it 3,000 points because each player on the team had 3 sevens in their hand? So unfortunately, when you're stuck with sevens in your hand over 2, and that's also aces, it will be minus 1,500 points. And you will also minus 20 points for each ace and 5 points for each 7, and you'll take that from your score. Please note that this is each person's hand at this point is on an individual basis. Each person's hand is counted separately. If each player from Team B had less than 2 sevens or aces, they are not penalized. The point value of the cards left in the hand is deducted, but there is no penalty. Moving on to talking about melding aces and sevens. Here's our first question. You have clean aces melded on the table and do not close them, but you have 2 canastas completed. First of all, I wanted to let you know you are not able to go out of the game with open sevens, aces, or wild cards, even if you have the 2 canastas completed or more. You must remain in the game until those are closed. If you do not close them and the game ends, you will be penalized 2,500 points for the aces and sevens and any wild canastas not completed. You will though, however, if you have 2 or more canastas completed, get the positive points for the value of the individual cards of the 7 aces or wilds, because they are melded on the table and you have 2 canastas completed. Even though you will get minus 2,500 points, again, you still get the value of the cards. You'll also get the value of your 3s. You will get the value of the 2 canastas or more completed. And again, that's any closed canasta, you'll get the value of that, whether it's mixed or pure. Don't forget to tally the cards in your hand that remain and minus them against the cards that you've melded on the table, and please include your partner's cards left in her hand. Our next question says, if you don't complete a meld of aces, 7s, or wilds, the penalty counts against you. If you have 1 canasta, you get the positive points of the value of the cards. If you get 2,500 points for completing the meld, you also get the value of the aces and 7s and wilds. So they're asking, is this true? Does it work the same in both directions? So as we mentioned, on both cases, whether you complete them or not, based on the fact that you have 1 canasta, you get the value of the cards count in the meld. Now, if you have no canastas, they would be minus. But this person's saying they have 1 canasta and they have not completed their aces, 7s, or wilds meld if they have, well, 3 down. I doubt that they had that, but they're kind of saying if I had an aces or 7s or wilds. So they have 1 canasta completed. You get the negative points for not completing the canasta. So you have an incomplete canasta. You would get negative 2,500 if it's aces or 7s. Plus, you would get the value of the individual cards as positive because they're melded and you have 1 canasta. Now, if you had no canasta on the table and you had those cards opened, meld, incomplete canastas, they would be minus 2,500 points plus minus the individual cards within that meld, minus your 3s, and minus all the cards in your partner's hand and your hand. So that's a big minus, minus, minus when you have no canasta. Moving on to 3s. When you close a wild card canasta, meaning 7 wild cards or 7s or aces, do you score only the bonus points for the canasta, or do you also add the face value of the cards, meaning 5 points for 7s, 20 points for aces, or 50 points for jokers and 20 points for 2s to your total score? When you have at least 1 canasta completed, even if you have incomplete 7s, aces, or wilds, you get the value of the individual cards as long as they're melded on the table. So those cards could still add up to a positive even though you're getting the negative points for incomplete canasta. Our next question states, when scoring, if you have 3s on the table and do not have at least 2 canastas, do you include the points of the 3s in your card count scoring? So please remember that 3s are only bonus cards. You'll only get the value of the 3s by sorting them by color, and you count them based on the number of the colors. So if you have 2 red 3s and 3 black 3s, 2 red 3s are valued at 300, 3 black 3s are valued at 500, so you would have an 800 score. Even if it was reverse, you had 2 black 3s and 3 red 3s, it's still 800 points. So you do get the value of the 3s as long as you have 2 canastas. If you have 0 canastas, they're negated. You don't get the value of the 3s. If you have no canastas, they become negative points and still added up the same way as if you would have 2 canastas. I think I gave you the example, but let me read what I wrote here. If you have 2 reds and 3 black threes laid down on your side, plus several melds, but no canastas, the other team goes out. When scoring, you will have minus 800 points for those threes. Then you start counting everything on the table and in your hand and your partners to be also subtracted. Finally, it says, do you count the threes in the tally as also 100 points each for card count? No, you just count the threes for bonus. So once you get your count for the threes for bonus or a minus, depending on where you are, you put the threes in the revolving tray, so you're done with them. You don't get the card count of the individual threes to be added to your card count. Threes are valued, as I explained earlier, by color. The individual threes are not counted as part of the card count if they are on the table. In your hand, if you have a 3 at the end of the game in your hand, it would be a minus 100. Here's some more questions about threes. If you make 2 canastas, your threes are positive. If you make 1 canasta, your threes are neutral. If you fail to make any canastas, how do you handle your threes? Is your meld deducted? If you do not make a canasta, the threes and everything in your hand and on the table is counted as negative and deducted. The threes are subtracted exactly the way they would have counted if you had 2 or more canastas, meaning 100, 300, 500, or 1,000. Here's another question about threes. A player was holding threes in their hand to make a pair's hand, but the partner opens their initial meld. Can they add the 3 to the existing ones, meaning just putting it down on the table? So threes, you can not lay down threes. They can only be replaced and laid down on the table on the turn when they are picked from the stockpile. Otherwise, you must hold them for the rest of the game, and they will be a penalty of 100 points. And our final question about threes. How is it scored if my opponents go out and I have a 3 in my hand? If you're holding a 3 until the end of the game, it's minus 100 points. Unless you can go out, and it will become your final discard face down. So hopefully that works in your favor if it's your final card and you can go out. Let's move on to our final questions about special hands. This person wrote in, I got a special hand of pairs, so I know the game ends, but my question is, does the other team still count their canasta basic points as usual? And then it says, can we count our other score also on top of the special hand of 3,500 points? So this is kind of like a 2-part question. So when the team gets a special hand, the game ends, and the team that got the special hand will only get the value of the special hand. They get nothing else. They don't get their threes. They don't have to deduct the points in their hand. They just get the special hand. And if your partner had maybe 3 sevens in their hand, they would not incur a penalty either. Your team is just getting the value of the special hand. The opponents, on the other hand, will score where they are in the traditional way, meaning do they have 1 canasta, 2 canastas, or 0 canastas. Again, the special hand receives 3,500 points only. There is no deduction of threes, no deduction of your partner's cards that are left in their hand, and the opponent's hand, again, is counted as usual during a regular game where they are. Another question is, what's the ruling for the opponents of a team ended the game on the first turn with a special hand when the opponents haven't even had their turn yet? Well, boy, aren't they lucky getting a nice hand right off the bat. So unfortunately, it says, do all the 3s, 7s, aces in the hands count as minus? And I guess, you have to remember they haven't even had a time to exchange their 3s. This is on the deal. So unfortunately, the 3s in their hand count as minus 100 points. The rest of the cards for the opponents count as their value minus. If they have 3 sevens or 3 aces or more in their hand, they're going to be minus 1,500 points also, plus the value of those cards. And that's per player of the team. So it's a big ouch for that team because the other team kind of walloped them with that special hand. So that was our final question about special hands. We'll continue our special hand questions and answers on next week. Submit your questions to me by commenting below or by emailing me at mahjongclass@yahoo.com, and we'll be sure to implement them next week when we talk more about special hands with our Q&A. Let's move on and we'll play a little on Real Canasta. So I hope these questions were helpful for you in your game and help you understand some of the scoring at end game. Don't forget to hit subscribe to help this girl out and let YouTube know how much you enjoy Canasta Class. We'll head on over to Real Canasta. We're going to do a new game. We're going to play fast. I always play 5 cards, which means after the initial meld, you need to have 5 of a rank before you add your wild cards. It's a good way to understand the strategy of using wild cards than just placing a pair down with a wild card. At the beginning of a game in your initial meld, you're more than welcome to put a pair down with a wild, but going forward, after your initial meld, you must have 5 of a rank in order to add a wild. And we're choosing invisible mode so that I can talk while I play. Sort by rank, put out your 3s. Oh, nice joker. And pick a card for your turn. So you always want to look if you have the components of a special hand, and we have a lot of pairs and triples, so those are our power cards, so we're going to focus on them. I don't believe we're going to play a special hand because we probably have more than enough to open. So we have 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 10, 15, or we can go this route. So we have 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 10, 20. We're going to have to split up our wilds in order to play with 125. I'm going to give it one turn. Maybe I could pick the pack. I'm going to put a 4 out. Now there's alternate views of whether you should wait or not. My opponent's opened right away, so I'll probably open next regardless, just to be out on the board so that if it comes down to it, we can pick the pack. Oh, and they already got one canasta. Let's go ahead and put out our cards. And I'm going to use the 10s here. And I only need 5 more points. So I think I'm going to separate this and put out my 6s. And then jacks are already out by the player on my left, so I'm going to discard the jack and I'm going to get 3 cards. Bunch of 5s in there. That's 1 7, and my opponent put out an ace. So 1 7, I'm going to put out my 10, I'm going to put out my 6, and I'm going to get rid of a 5. Got rid of a 5 because I'm kind of baiting my opponent and hoping that they'll discard a 5. And he did. I can take the pack. And now I have all these other 5s to put up. I'm going to close the 6s. And that's all I have. I can't get rid of a 7 on an empty deck. We'll try this 9. Now that they put out 4s, jacks are dead. I'm going to put out my 7. I only want to have 2 7s. I don't need this ace either. That'll be my next discard. Put out my 8. That's 1 7. Actually 2 7s because That's 2 sevens, 1 ace. We don't need to count aces because they're already dead. Nine. Fives are dead, I can get rid of, and jacks. Let's get rid of jacks, they're higher value. Now I know my partner has all the sevens. I can discard sevens if I need be. Jacks are dead. So where's eights? I'm going to get rid of that. And I should probably discard my sevens. I know they have at least 3 sevens. That's 6 sevens between us. I'm going to take the pack, and I hope that my partner will put out their sevens unless they go out. But they can't go out because they have nowhere to put that card. Fours are clues, fives are clues. I can put out my king, but I can't because that's the only card that I can't. Everything else is dead. So I'm going to put out a king. Hopefully we get the sevens. And there we go. Oh, I thought he had one more. Shoot. Bummer. I thought he had one more. Thought there was 3 sevens in there. Now I need to discard. I'm going to do an ace. That stinks. Bummer. That was a big oops. I thought there was 3. He had 3 sevens and I had 3 sevens. Bummer. That's all right. Lesson learned. It's fun to try. And they both had sevens in their hand. Let's go on to the next round. There's lots of games left to catch up. And that was a big oops on my part. I miscounted. I thought he had 3. Wow, they opened fast. Put out your 3s. It's on your first turn. Pick a card for your turn. Wow, look at all those 7s I have. It's not going to help me get to 125. So I guess we'll start getting rid of our 7s. It's 1 7. Queens are dead. 2 7s. Oh, maybe I'm thinking we could maybe try to go for a special hand. Oh, let's go for a special hand. We're missing a 4 and a 6. Let's try it. And a 3. Oh, you know what? All the 3s are out, except 1 black 3. That's 4 7s, 5 7s. This is terrible. Oh, should I try it? I think I'll get that black 3. Ah, it's worth a try. I didn't have much of anything else. Come on, black 3. I'm going for a straight. My partner got it. Now I'm busting the garbage hand. It's alright. That was fun to try. Queens are dead. Another wilds. 6s and queens are dead, and they have 8s. Let's get rid of the 8. My partner never even opened. Not that I could help my partner. I have terrible cards. A 9. They have 8s. They have aces. Let's get rid of the ace. Shocking we couldn't open with 125. They look like they were going for a special hand of pairs. They didn't have much either. We're going in the wrong direction. Still time. Never know. You can have a big turnaround. It was a great try to teach you how to go for a special hand. And we're going to get rid of a low card. My partner threw out a jack. I don't want to reply to that because I don't know if that's asking if I have wild cards. I'm going to put a low card. My partner threw out a 5. I'll do a 4. Let's see if we have 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Wow, we have a long way to go. 110. My partner threw out a 6. I'm going to throw out an 8. Oh, the other team's opening. Kings and jacks. A 9. My opponent put out a 6. I'm going to do a 7, which is my only 7. I'm going to do a king next. 2 7s. So 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 10, 20. Oh, we're still 5 points short. That's so crazy. An ace. Let's see if we can do it. That's 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 10, 20, 30, 40. We're good. Let's put it out before they get out of the game. We have a perfect discard of jacks too. Nice. Oh, that was beautiful. My partner is able to pick the pack. There's a lot of 7s in there too. I can actually go out. You want to make a decision to go out before you lay down any cards, so you can ask to go out. I think he's going to say no. I think yeah, he has a few 7s. So let's make what we can here. I'm going to do the 8, the 5, and get rid of the jack. It's 1 7. To get rid of the 8. Gotta watch to see when he comes clean of 7s. Oh, he did a king, so he's clean, so I can go out. Put out my 3. Wow, nice pickup with the 3s. Okay, we're going to close the aces. They're already mixed. I'm going to use an ace as a discard. And I'll close my queens. And I'm going to go out. So that was a good rebound. We got 29.70. They only got 400. So we're getting there. Sort by rank. Put out your 3s. Take a new card. We're still at 125. Get rid of a single. We have 60. And we don't have enough. Just 60 right now. Oh, we need, oh, now we maybe have enough. So we have 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 110, 25. I'm going to open so that my partner can maybe pick the pack. And I'll discard a queen. Got a couple pairs, that's sweet. One more ace. Don't have queens. Gonna hold low cards because it's more likely what they're gonna discard. That was 1 7, and there's a 10. Put out my ace. Oh, look at all these 7s. We gotta get rid of them. And that's all I got right now. Oh, I can put out my 5s. And I'll get rid of the lonely 4 and then start getting rid of my 7s. I have 3 extra 7s. Put out our queens. 1 7. Put out our kings. 1 7. 2 7s. Oh, put out your 5. 3 7s. So my partner has the 3 7s. Four 7s. I'm gonna get rid of 4. So 1 2 3 4 5. That's 7 7s? I don't think so. I'm going to put out my 3 8s and put a 7 out. Yeah, they hadn't. I think they were all there. I should have picked it. Oh well. We still did fairly well. We're on an even keel now, so we came back. So that was 4 games, and we were able to come back. We got 2,460. On to the next round, and we are now at 180. We skipped 155. So put out your 3s, and all these little cards are not going to help with 180. And we have no wild cards. Pick card for your turn. So I'm going to get rid of a 6. All these little cards. We're not going to get 180 unless we go for pairs. We have the potential for pairs. Or maybe zip code, which is 4 of a kind, 3 of a kind, 3 of a kind, and 2 pairs. Everybody's throwing out those little cards. Oh no, the other team's opening for 180. Nice, good for them. Oh, we have all these 3s. My opponent threw a 6. This is a gamble now. Guess I'll do a 7. A 10. They threw a 6 again. I'll try an 8. We almost have We have 60, 70, 80, 90, 110, 20. We have a nice hand going here. That did give them the pack, but we got to do something about these threes. Aish, more threes. I'm sure they have this jack. Eights, fives, sixes, kings. I didn't want to get rid of anything else. Need another wild card. Yeesh. 9. So we have 4, 3. All right, let's get rid of these kings. Oh, they have all the wild cards. Yep, look at that. So we have 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. We still don't have enough. Ah, damn, we're going to be walloped. 80, 90, 100, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. We have enough to open, but the problem is we're past the turn card. We're not going to get a Talon. And I don't think that this is a special hand, but let's try it now. So in order to find special hands, you come here and look up special hands and they tell you. So I have 4, 4. I'd have to get 4 and a pair. It's not happening. 5, 4, 3, 2. Do I have that? I could get 5, 4, 3, and then 2. Let's get rid of a 9. So that's, yeah, I'm way off. Get rid of a 9. Yeah. Bummer. Just didn't work out. Ah, 5. Yeah, I'm missing 40, 80, 90, 100, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. I can't open. This is terrible. And then we're going to get a penalty of 2,000 points. They just won the game. Eesh. Oh, we didn't have all the 3? Oh, we're missing 1 black 3. So we got a penalty for 1,000 points and penalty for 500. That was terrible. It looked like such a nice hand. Well, we're down to 155 and they're at 180. We should hopefully open before them. We don't have our 3 of a kind. Still anybody's game. We can keep trying here. Partner got rid of a 4. I'm going to get rid of a 4. We're trying to match each other. Let's rid of another 4. I don't have one to get rid of. I'll get rid of a 6. We have 120. We need a triple. Eesh. A bunch of pairs. Yay, or triple. Let's see if they throw a 5 out. Seven. So we have 120, 30, 40, 50, 60, which is more than enough. So let's split this. Actually, I have to hold one back. Oh, I can't split it. Let's do 2 kings, a queen, and 3 5s. Get rid of our jack. Wow, look at all those 7s. We gotta get rid of a 3. So if the other team had a special hand right now, we'd get a penalty of 1,500 points. Oh, good. Maybe we're still in this game. Maybe we can get out before they even open with 180. We had 2 big jokers, so that's what they need to help with them with 180. 1 7. Okay, let's put out our 10s. Let's do our queen and close the 5s and get rid of a 7. 2 7s. 3 7s. 4 7s. Is that 4 7s? Is that 4 7s? I'm not going to pick it. They're going to get stuck with those 7s. That's probably enough points for them to win the game. I didn't want to throw a 7. That would give them 5 7s. Ouch, they just won. Oh no, they didn't. Oh, because he had the 4 7s, they got the penalty. Otherwise, they would have won. So we're pretty close. I'm pretty happy about this. Remember, we lost the first 2 games, and the last one we just lost. So on to our next round. It's still anybody's game. This has been going on for a little bit. This is what happens sometimes. You get stuck in a game. Oh, geez, we have no wilds. How are we going to get to 180? Might have to go for a special hand. 4 3 3 2 2. It's a little crazy holding on to all these 7s. I don't know. Can we get 7 7s? 1 2 3 4 5. Oh, my partner open. So I'm done here. So I'm going to get rid of these 7s. A 4. I don't have a 4. I can get rid of a 7. I don't have a jack. I have 1 ace and no 10s. 1 7. Two 7s. Three 7s. Oh, I have a pair of 5s. Why not? Hopefully we can get rid of the 7s before put out our ace. We have the jack. We have a king. We have 3 queens. 1 10. 3 9s. You know what? Hold back the 9s. I'd rather make canastas. And the 5s are close, so we can't do that. We're going to have to get rid of 1 9. Oh, geez, that's the only pair they had. We need 1 7, kids. Oh, geez. We just shot ourselves in the foot. But we were trying to get as many points as we can to be the winner. And because we really were behind quite a bit, we were at 6,000, they were at 7. And they came ahead and won the game. But it was up and down the whole game. It was quite exciting. I really did enjoy this one. The only thing I wouldn't have done different was I made a mistake at the very beginning and I miscounted the 7s. This time I knew we didn't have them all, so I held them. And so we only got negative 1,500 points versus putting them up, which we got 2,500 points. I thank you for being here and being a part of Canasta Class. Please give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed the topic and play. I would love to hear from you. Email me at mahjongclass@yahoo.com. Or you can put in the comments below anything you would like me to talk about or what you would have done differently during the game. Again, I did make a crucial mistake in this game where I put out the 7s. I had miscounted, so it's extremely important to count your 7s. And you can look at a video I have on YouTube on Canasta Class about counting 7s and aces. I have tips and tricks for that. It's just a matter if I have to use them myself. Always do as I say, not as I do. And so I hope you picked up a thing or two tonight. And be sure to make sure you're tallying right at the end of the game. The score is done proper. I know a lot of people don't like to be the scorekeeper, but it does help you understand how the game functions and some of the strategies of the game if you become the scorekeeper. It makes you pay a little more attention to where the score is at. So I hope to see you next week on Monday at 6:30. Have a great night, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.